Hello everyone and thank you for watching Edupedia World videos. In this lecture, we will talk about sales document types. And we will take a quick look at each of sales document types in SAP ERP system. Inquiries and quotations. An inquiry is a request that a buyer places on the seller to get the required information about the seller's product. It is an indication of the buyer's interest toward the seller's products. A customer inquiry may contain questions about the cost of the product, its availability on a particular date, use of a product, and so on. You reply to the customer's inquiry by sending a quotation. A quotation usually contains information about the product price, any applicable terms and conditions, and the answers to any other question from the buyer's inquiry. Standard SAP provides document type IN for inquiries and QT for quotations, with the item categories AFN and AGN controlling the item data for inquiries and quotations respectively. You can create an inquiry or quotation document for both goods and services. You can also use structured materials such as bill of materials in inquiries and quotations. While creating any of two documents, you can give the choice for a customer by providing one or more alternatives for a particular product. To maintain an alternative for an item in an inquiry or quotation document, enter the alternative item just below the main item with the reference number of the main item at the alternate item field on the alternate line item. If the customer quotation converts into a confirmed order and the customer has agreed on the alternative item, you can copy the alternative item into the sales order with reference to the quotation. To do so, you have to use the selection list function from the dialog box that appears when you copy a document with reference to another document. You can also maintain a validity period for your inquiry or quotation, and thus can monitor the processing time of your inquiry and quotation process in SAP against the benchmarks that exist in your organization. A quotation is copied from an inquiry or can be created standalone. Copy controls exist in standard SAP for inquiry quotation, inquiry, and quotation standard order for allowing the copy between an inquiry to a quotation, from an inquiry to an inquiry, and from a quotation to a sales order. Next document type is sales returns. A sales return or goods return is a process where the buyer sends back the goods to the seller and the seller credits the customer for the value of the goods by creating a returns billing document. The process involves creating a sales return document type followed by return delivery and a return invoice credit note. You can create returns in SAP with or without reference to a billing document. If you want to create them with reference to a billing document, make sure that you have a copy control set up between the billing and sales documents to allow this copy for your sales document. In standard SAP, sales document type RE with the default delivery document type LR and a default billing document type RE represents the sales return cycle. The SD document category is H and the screen sequence group is RE. The document is under the default billing block that ensures the validation of the return document by an authorized person before giving credit to the customer. Since it is an inward movement of goods, the return documents are not relevant for credit checks. The item category RRN for returns processing is a standard return item relevant for delivery, billing, and pricing, and it allows schedule lines, debit and credit notes. Mistakes do happen in the processing of a sales transaction. This creates a need for an adjustment or correction process. Debit notes and credit notes are this adjustment document in SAP. You create a debit note in SAP to debit the customer for any underbilled amount and a credit note to credit the customer for any overbilled amount, without invoicing any goods movement. Underbilling and overbilling are not the only criteria for creating debit or credit notes. There may be various other reasons too. For example, you may have an agreement with your customer to get reimbursed for any expense you incurred on behalf of your customer with relationship to the sales transaction, such as freight charges, insurance, and so on. In such cases, a debit note is also used for charging these actual expenses to the customer. You can create a debit or credit note with a reference to a sales document, a contract, or a billing document. And you can even create one without a reference to any document. The structure of a debit and credit note document consists of a header and item. Since no delivery is involved, the schedule line category is not required. Because there is no delivery step involved in a debit or credit document, and they straightaway with accounting, organizations generally keep these documents under a default billing block. An authorized person then reviews these documents and releases the billing block. If you are not satisfied with this two-level validation process and need something like a release strategy, you can define one by using status profiles. For example, you can set up the user-defined status as initial, blocked, rejected, and released, and you can then provide the authorizations for these different individuals. Once the documents are approved or released from the billing block, they can be processed using billing process and posted to accounting. In standard SAP, its document type CR with the document category K and billing type G2 exist for a credit note, and document type DR with document category L and billing type L2 exist for debit note. The screen sequence group is GA, which controls the display of the screens in VA01, VA02, and VA03 transactions, which you use for the maintenance of credit debit note request documents. Next document type is Invoice Corrections. Invoice Corrections, document type RK, represent the process of adjusting or correcting the customer's invoice. Unlike debit and credit sales documents, where you create two separate documents, one for debit and one for credit, this document type RK allows you to create a single correction document for your invoice. The structure of the document consists of a header and item data. The item data always consists of two items. The first item is always a debit item, and the second is the credit item. The net invoice correction amount is a sum total of both the lines, leading to an upward or downward revision of the original invoice amount. The combination of the document category value K and the indicator field value D categorizes document type RK as an invoice correction document. The reference mandatory field in customizing for document type RK contains value M. This forces the document type to be created only with reference to an invoice document. The document type RK is not relevant for delivery and creates an order-relevant billing G2. A default billing block exists in customizing for document type RK, which ensures proper validation by an authorized person before the RK document can be built. The item categories G2N and L2N are available in standard SAP for use with the document type RK. Next document type is free of charge delivery and subsequent free of charge delivery. Certain sales scenarios demand free of charge delivery of goods, such as samples. In standard SAP, you can send free of charge deliveries to your customer using sales document type FD, free of charge deliveries, and document type SDF, subsequent free of charge deliveries. Free of charge delivery. You use sales document type FD with default delivery type LF to send samples of your products to a customer. The sales cycle for free of charge deliveries only involves the order and delivery step and is not relevant for billing. In customizing, the document type FD is set up with document category I, which categorizes the sales document type FD as a free of charge order. For a free of charge delivery, the order reason is compulsory and is part of the completion procedure assigned to the document type. Subsequent free of charge delivery. SAP provides a free of charge delivery sales document. On the other hand, to handle situations where goods were billed to a customer but found damaged or arrival when received by a customer. In some cases, it is not worth having these goods returned, and a subsequent delivery needs to be carried out. For example, as a result of a customer complaint, you now want to send a subsequent delivery to your customer free of charge. An SDF document is always created with reference to the original sales document and similar to document type FD, involves only the order and delivery step. You don't bill the customer a second time, and therefore the document is not relevant for billing. From a customization standpoint, sales document type SDF is like a mirror image of document type FD, with the major exception that referencing the original sales document is mandatory for an SDF sales order, and it need not access customer material information records, because all the values are supposed to flow from the reference sales order to the SDF document. The SAP system is capable of keeping track of how many quantities you copied from reference document into the SDF document for delivering free to the customer. The document type SDF also uses item category KLN and therefore similar to FD, is relevant for delivery but not for billing and pricing. Cash sales. Cash sales is a special order type available in SAP to handle those business scenarios where the customer places the order, pays for the goods, and receives the delivery at the same time. An example of this business process would be over-the-counter sale. You create cash sales using transaction code V801. Once you save the sales document type, SAP automatically creates the delivery. You cannot save an incomplete cash sales document unless you maintain all the required entries. The customer may receive the delivery of the goods at the counter. They may pick up the goods from the warehouse, or you can even deliver the goods at the customer's specified location. The delivery document can be configured to meet all these business needs. In a standard setup, it works as if the delivery is required at the counter. Unlike the standard SAP process of taking the invoice printout from the billing document, the invoice printout for cash sales is generated from the sales document itself. The customer makes the payment against this document, and therefore the sales order number is also stored as a payment reference in the accounting entry for cash orders. The billing for cash sales is an order-related billing. In other words, you create the billing with reference to a cash sales order and not with reference to the delivery document. Copy control for cash sales exists only between the order to delivery and the order to billing in standard SAP. While creating the billing document for cash sales, SAP also checks that the quantity ordered in the cash sales order should exactly match with the post-goods issue quantity of the delivery. If the quantities do not match, you cannot create the billing document. Since the invoice printout is generated from the sales document, the billing document is relevant only for posting to the accounting. The accounting entry is passed into the revenue, and the offset goes to the cash account. If there are any cancellations, credit notes, returns and so on against cash sales, then that follows the standard SAP process. Apart from silent features mentioned earlier, the cash sales order cycle uses basic functions just like any other standard order. This includes an availability check, credit check, pricing, partner termination, and so on. Normally, for over-the-counter cash sales purposes, businesses use a one-time customer. This helps them avoid the hassle of creating customer masters for cash customers. Next sales document type is rush orders. A rush order is a special order type provided by SAP to handle situations where you would like to create an immediate delivery from the sales order, for example in same-day delivery scenarios. The moment an order is saved, a delivery document is created, and the warehouse can start processing the order. The billing for rush orders is created with reference to the delivery document, and the billing output is also generated from the invoice document. From a customization standpoint, a rush order is like a mirror image of a standard order. The only major exception is that the delivery document for a rush order is created immediately. You create a rush order using a transaction for creating standard orders, VA01. In standard SAP, the sales document type RO with default delivery document type LF and a default billing document type F2 represents the rush order cycle. You can still use all the item categories that you generally use with a standard order, like TAN, TANN, and so on. Consignment processing. A consignment is a type of sales process where the goods are not sold to the customer in the first place. You manage the stock levels at the customer consigned location. The customer consumes the goods on a needed basis from the location, and you bill the customer only for the goods consumed. The goods at the customer's location are your property, and the transfer of ownership happens once they are consumed by and billed to the customer. In SAP, the customer consignment location is represented by special stock locations within the plant, and the stock in these locations is tracked separately with a special stock indicator, V, customer consignment stock. Third-party order processing. Third-party order processing is a type of sales process wherein your vendor directly supplies the goods to your customer, and you bill your customer for these goods on receipt of delivery proof from the vendor. The distribution of goods directly by your vendor to your customer provides you with benefits such as no inventory management, warehouse management, or transportation hassle, no storage cost, no special training or staff to handle the vendor's product on your warehouse. Third-party processing provides your business, to an extent, with a low-cost approach toward achieving the same objectives as it would achieve by maintaining inventory in your own warehouse and distributing the goods yourself. The process starts when you create a sales order with a line item relevant for third-party processing. A line item with item category TAS. SAP creates a purchase requisition for this line item, which then converts it into a purchase order following the regular procurement process. The purchase order is released and is sent to the vendor, and the vendor supplies the goods to the customer and sends you an invoice for the goods delivered. You post an invoice receipt against the purchase order via transaction mirror. After that, this IR then updates the VPRS cost and sales order billing status for the line item, and the billing document is created for the delivery. To support the third-party processing, standard SAP comes with an item category TAS and schedule line category CS. Sales contracts. A sales contract is a legal agreement that not only has all the essential elements of a sales order, but also has a validity period. By signing a sales contract, the seller agrees to supply the goods and services to the customer, and the customer agrees to receive and pay for the goods and services as per the terms and conditions of the contract. The breach of contract has its own consequences and can lead to penalties and other related fees. Because of its legally binding nature, a sales contract provides an exact picture of the current period of revenues and the future period of revenues, and thus also serves as revenue assurance tool to the companies. A sales contract in SAP is nothing but another sales document type you define via customization, but with a few functionalities that are made possible by the use of set of fields available specially for contracts. So now we have learned all necessary information about sales document types in SAP Sales and Distribution module. Thank you for watching Edupedia World videos.